Our favorite stories of the future show the ascent of humanity. Beyond sickness, beyond conflict, beyond the stars, and even beyond mortality. But what if all of our stories of the future were wrong? The assumption is that we will be there to see it. Today, we live in disparate perceptual worlds, where some can clearly see what others cannot. The fourth industrial revolution, giving birth to global technocracy. Elite masters transcending geopolitical boundaries, acting with impunity, celebrating our descent into bio-digital slavery. Even those who understand where we are right now may not yet perceive where we are heading. So what is the trajectory of humanity? Right now, we find ourselves accelerating exponentially towards the post-human world. How do we bridge our disparate worlds and raise the alarm, press pause and look again at the world around us on the cusp of the fourth industrial revolution, hopelessly addicted to technology? They tell us that artificial intelligence, virtual reality, genetic engineering, nanotechnology, synbio are all here for us to exploit, to set us free from evolution and become as gods. But as we reach into technology, technology also reaches into us. We have surpassed the Internet of Things and entered the Internet of Bodies, merging humans with machines run by AI. Transhumanism is the transformation of the human species that continues to evolve with and through technology, bringing us to a threshold, the singularity. After the singularity, Earth becomes a post-human world where human beings will be rendered obsolete. How far-fetched is the post-human world? The enabling technologies exist. The policies are in place. Sophisticated military operations are already underway. COVID-19 was a psyop. The intention was never the disease. It was always the injection. The normalization of compulsory injected bio-nano enhancement. Now, the traces of bio-nanotechnology are showing up everywhere in live blood analyses. There, global technocracy is rising up all around us and within us, whether we like it or not. This is omni-war, and they think they have won. Every day, they tighten the screws. Surveillance, censorship, distraction, subversion. We need to be prepared for the most shocking of futures. But the story of our future is not yet written. In this vital moment, we still have time to choose. They have chosen their way to depart this world, but we will not comply. We are the resistance. Humanity's response to the fourth industrial revolution. We will choose our own way, and we must defend our freedom of choice, whatever the cost may be. Resistance means holding on to our humanity. If you do not change direction, you may end up where you are heading. So choose wisely. What's left of your time starts now.
All right, Shalom. There's your brother Nahal, you're from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yashar Allah. And a sincere salutation to all Yuakim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwad, who are believing this word, in all truth and in sincerity. Yahweh is the name of the one they ignorantly call God. Yahweh Shai is the name of the one they ignorantly call Jesus. Bahashem is in the name, Rakah is spirit, Kodash is holy, Akyam is brothers, Aqua the sisters. Shalom means peace, and Yasha Allah is Israel in ancient Paleo Hebrew. This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 11. And it reads, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed." Now, for those who don't know, all right, when you deal with Revelation, the 13th chapter, starting at this verse, all right, in particular, I want to go into how it relates to the video that you saw from, I believe his name is David Ick. All right. And again, this goes into Esau's desire. All right. And how it relates to the scriptures, because before this idea came upon the earth, all right, it was already prophesied to happen. All right. And basically what Esau's doing is he's taking the Roman Empire, the revived Roman Empire, which is the system that we live in today, and he's going to take it into a digital realm. All right. That's what he desires to do. That's why everything is going from cash to cashless. Everything is going into this digital place where it can be tracked. All right. Like the cryptocurrency systems. All right. And that video covers a lot of it, but I want to go into how it relates to the scriptures. All right. So let's start at the top again, Revelation 13 and 11. "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." Now, when you deal with these 2 horns, that goes into the different political parties. Now, in the ancient Roman Empire, it was the plebeians and the patricians. In today's era, all right, when you deal with America, you have the Democrats and the Republicans. The patricians would be like the Republicans today, and the plebeians would be like the Democrats today. The plebeians were for the common people, allegedly. All right. And the patricians were for the elite class. And that's happening right now through the 2 political parties of Democrats and Republicans. Now, verse 12 reads, "And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed." Now, that first beast is going into the Roman Empire. All right. It had a wound, meaning it came down. All right. The Roman Empire fell. All right. But it was revived. That deadly wound was healed. All right. Beginning in the Renaissance era. And now what we see and what we live in today, when you deal with predominantly the Western culture, if you will, is the revived Roman Empire. All right. And this is why they talk about democracy and they talk about exporting democracy to other nations of people. And because, again, they're attempting to cause people to worship the beast. All right. Now, the final expression of worship of the beast is going to be that MOTB, the mark of the beast. All right. Which is basically going into that digital all. All right. And what David Ick described in that video, all right, is the digital system that Esau is trying to roll out. All right. Even when you deal with what's going on in China, China is a reflection of that. All right. It's a reflection of the image of the beast. All right. Matter of fact, let's go here. This is because it's not secluded just to America. All right. The Chinese, the Moabites, have fashioned themselves after that same image of Babylon the Great. All right. For those who don't know, Babylon, or Mystery Babylon, described in Revelation, is going into America. All right. That is Mystery Babylon, or Babylon the Great. All right. The virgin daughter of Babylon. All right. That is America. Now, the Moabites, the Chinese, have fashioned themselves after the glory of Babylon. And I'm going to get that real quick. This is 2 Esdras 15 and 46. And it reads, "And thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person, woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. All right. Therefore saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death, and the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. The heat shall arise that is sent over thee. Now I want to go back to verse 48. It says, thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. All right, because again, when you deal with the social credit score, that's something that is in China. When you deal with basically a cashless society, they use the WeChat app, basically to pay for things that they need in that everyday society. That's how they pay for things. All right, that is the desire of the elites of this society, to take everything into a digital realm, so to speak, where everything can be tracked and logged. That is the MOTB, the mark of the beast, is going to be the staple of that. They've already laid down the infrastructure, and really China's like a trial run of it. Because when your social credit score gets down to a certain level, you can't buy train tickets. You can't leave your 5-mile radius, depending on how low your credit score is. But because everything is tapped into that WeChat system, they're able to exercise that type of power. All right, so let's go back to Revelation, the 13th chapter. All right, because again, what they've done in China is a prelude. All right, because ultimately Esau's desire is to turn this into a digital realm. All right, where everybody is juiced in with the chip. Everybody has that incision. Everybody has that chip. And through that, you're able to be tracked. Your medical records are there. Your purchases are there. All right, this is why they're going from a cash society to a cashless society, particularly with cryptocurrency. Because with cryptocurrency, you can track every transaction, and you can also control what people can and can't buy. Whereas you can't do that with paper money. All right, so everything that you saw with David Icke's video, you got to eat the meat and spit out the bones. But for the most part, it goes into this desire of Esau to create this digital system where he is worshipped as a god. All right, so let's continue. All right, I'm going to jump back down. This is Revelation 13 and 13. And it reads, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. All right, and we know about the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. All right, and Esau's been dropping bombs, all right, ever since. All right, and that's how he's laid down the groundwork of setting up his power. People have seen that fire come down from heaven, those bombs, and Esau's military capability, and it's put people in a state of wonder. They wonder after the beast because they've witnessed that power. Now we're at a place where everybody has, all the other nations have that kind of weaponry. But when Esau first did it, it was unprecedented. All right, the Hiroshima and Nagasaki and that bombing really set the precedent of Esau reigning over all these other nations through the sword. All right, now let's continue. It says this, verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. All right, and we're going to start to see more of these so-called miracles, especially with the rollout of Neuralink. All right, these different programs that Esau, particularly Elon Musk, is fast tracking. There's a program, I believe it's called Blind Sight or something of that nature, that Elon Musk just got approval for from the FDA to roll this out. And this is basically a system where you can take over somebody's visual cortex. So they put a chip in your brain, and then you can basically have a video game or a movie or anything literally play through your eyes. So you don't need goggles. You don't need glasses. All right. So the early stages of that process is already beginning. But this is the ultimate goal for Esau Edom, the so-called white man, beginning with their elites. And that is to create this digital system where they have full control and where they are ultimately worshipped as a god. All right. And this is what the scriptures is talking about. Contrary to what Christianity has tried to push. All right. Every time you read Revelation 13 and you just watch them try to break it down, they butcher it. And you can tell that they don't have a proper understanding of the scriptures. All right. But when you really go into this image, all right, and this mark, all right, it's easy to see what's happening in our day-to-day life, that everything is moving towards this digital system. All right. And that staple is going to be the chip. All right. This 2 Thessalonians 2:3, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. All right, because ultimately Esau has that God complex. All right, beginning with the so-called white man's elites, they have a God complex. All right, this is why the theory of evolution sprung forth from these Edomites when they came out of those during the late Renaissance period. All right, they started to come up with this theory, all right, in 1800s. I mean, probably before that, but it became a staple during that time where everything came out of nothing. And by default, through natural selection, the so-called white man ended on top. All right, and he set this groundwork up because ultimately Esau's God complex played out through these doctrines, but now it's going to play out through technology. All right, that's Esau's wet dream, if you will. All right, is to have everything controlled where he sits as God, and anything or anybody who opposes him, he can get rid of them because everybody's tapped into this digital system. All right, and this is what you see in Revelation, the 13th chapter as we continue, because they're going to entice people with the miracles. All right, being able to make blind people see. All right, I believe that blind sight project that Elon Musk is putting out could potentially give blind people the ability to see. These are the so-called miracles that Esau is going to push out to entice people to take this chip. I mean, you saw with the Neuralink and what it did with the paraplegic and his ability to play Call of Duty better than anybody else. And this is the groundwork that they're laying it down to entice people to take it. But this is the end goal. The end goal is that everybody is tapped into this digital system where Esau can automate control. So now he can just put in an algorithm, and if everybody's tapped into the chip, he can find out who said what through keywords. And if you say the wrong thing, he can say, all right, you can't leave your 5-mile radius until you learn how to behave. If you speak against his system, he can set up something to where he can just he can cut your chip off. He can cut you off. All right. And this is the end goal, because once that happens, after they say peace and safety, what's going to happen is sudden destruction. All right. We'll get that, Lord willing. So I'm going to read this again, Revelation 13:14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So when you think about it, the image of the beast, the Roman society, the ancient Roman society, all right, is prevalent in this modern society, from the court system, from the way the system is set up. All right. And it's been exalted amongst the nations. You know, you have whole countries of people who have fashioned themselves after the American way. All right. And America is really just a revived version of the Roman Empire. The West in general, but America in particular is that spearhead. All right. So now they're going to digitize it. All right. They're going to make it to a point where people are drawn to the convenience of being integrated into this digital system. Globally integrated. All right. And once they get people in it, that's when he's going to take the mask off. All right. And this is why the Lord said that we are not ignorant of his devices. All right. Matter of fact, this is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Because once you take that digital all, there is no getting out of the system. All right. Once you allow this biometric device to enter into your system, all right, As the scripture says, you can't buy or sell without it. But once you're in it, once you're integrated into it, there is no getting out. All right. And that's when Esau can truly take off the mask. All right. Let's go back to it. This is Revelation 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now, when you go into this word killed, I'm going to get this Greek word right here at the end. All right, it says apokteno. All right, it says to kill in any way, whatever, to destroy, to allow to perish. Metaphorically, to extinguish, abolish, to inflict mortal death. All right, to deprive of spiritual life and procure eternal misery in hell. That is off. All right, that part B, that part 2, section B is off. Now, when you go to the root word, it says of separation. All right, because, of course, you know, by pain of death, they're going to people are going to be killed. You know, the scripture talk about martyrs. But just not taking the chip alone will, in essence, separate you from your necessities. All right, it will separate you from this system. If you don't have it, it's like if you don't have an ID or a debit card. How do you actually function in this society if you didn't have an ID or a debit card? No access to the money that you work for. How would you actually be able to function? You wouldn't. That is the equivalent of the chip. If you don't have it, you won't be able to be integrated into the system. All right, so they won't have to go door to door. They're going to set up an infrastructure system where if you don't take it, you're just not included. Good luck. And that is a form of being killed. That's being separated. All right. Part B, all right, section 1, part B says of separation of a part from the whole. So by not taking it, you're excommunicated without them having to even reach out to you personally. All right, now let's continue. Here's the point. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So without that mark, you won't be able to buy or sell. All right. And this is why it says he causeth all. And it's the equivalent of the debit card. At one point, you didn't have a chip inside of the debit card. And then when they fully committed to the chip inside of the debit card, your old plastic debit card just didn't work anymore. They may have sent you one and you didn't activate it. They may have sent you another, you didn't activate it. But eventually they got to a point where your old plastic debit card without the chip didn't work anymore. And you were either going to use the one with the chip in it, or you didn't have access to your money. All right. And what that video highlighted is Esau's desire, no matter whether it's Democrats or Republican. And that's why Revelation 13 and 11, it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Because whether you're dealing with Democrats or Republicans, those draconian measures are still going to come down. Because it's 2 horns on the same beast. This is the end goal, whether you vote Republican or Democrat. This is the end goal. And you can see it with everything that's happening in this society. Everything is moving towards this digital type of system. You know, they did a bait and switch with the crypto. They sold it with freedom from the financial institutions. You can put your money in crypto and you don't have to worry about all those bank fees and all of that. Meanwhile, Esau was setting the bait and switch, because now you have a lot of so-called crypto scams. And Esau's doing that and allowing those things to happen so it could be government regulated. And then from there, it's going to be implemented. Look, let's use this crypto, this smart technology. All right, let's use this technology, and then let's take that technology and force people to use it. Because one thing about Bitcoin in particular is it has a public ledger. So anybody, I mean, if you know somebody's wallet, you can literally look at all of their transactions. So what Esau is going to do is he's going to have a similar system, whether it's Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency. All right, they were talking about XRP at one point. I think they're still talking about XRP. But what they're going to do is they're going to implement that crypto system, but the ledger is not going to be public. It's going to be private, and they're going to be the only ones that have access to it to see all of your day-to-day transactions. And it's why it says he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. Even the jakes that's locked up, in order for them to get their commissary, they're gonna have to take it. They have to take that hit, that C hit. And this is where everything is going. It's all moving to this digital place where Esau can be worshipped as a god. Because that is his desire. He's setting himself up as God. All right. He used these philosophies, if you will, like evolution, like modern Christianity with this picture of Jesus Christos. He used those things to prop himself up as God. Darwinian evolution. He used those things to say, look, I'm the smartest thing in the universe. There is no God. All this happened by chance, and the strong survive. So natural selection, survival of the fittest. So by default, we are the top nation on the earth. And it's through nature. It's not through wickedness. It's through nature. And that's how they prop themselves up in past time. And then they use Christianity where they put Jesus Christos up and said basically God looked like us. Now they're going to take this whole system into a digital realm where they could prop themselves up as God. Because once they put people into that system with the C-hip, you can track everybody. You can see everybody's movements. And it's Esau fancying himself as if he's God. All right, this is Ezekiel 28:2. And it reads, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of God. And the modern prince of Tyrus is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And this is his mentality. All right. He set his heart or his mind as the heart of God. And that digital system that he's trying to roll out is that manifestation of him trying to be God through technology. All right. Now let's jump down to this. Verse 6. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God. Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am a God? But thou shalt be a man and no God in the midst of him that slayeth thee. Because Esau's plan is not going to come to pass. All right. I'm going to get this in Job. This says Job 20:22, and the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So we know that they're going to get close to rolling this system out. But eventually, all right, the Lord's going to intervene. All right, and this is why prophecy is so important, because, again, you should be able to look at prophecy and look at the world around you and see a common thread. If not, you either don't have the eye solve or you're not being taught by the right people. But this is what's happening in the earth in real time. All right. And when I saw this video, this is all it made me think of. What the Lord had already told us aforetime. All right. What Esau's doing is nothing new. He didn't come up with this plan by himself. All right. The Lord ultimately put the spirit on him to have this desire. All right. Because ultimately it's going to bring about judgment. All right. And the Lord's going to refresh his name or renew his name in the earth, his reputation in the earth, by taking down the new Pharaoh. That's why it says the Lord that liveth, all right, going into Jeremiah 16, the 16th chapter, is not going to be, matter of fact, let's get it. It's Jeremiah 16:14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. So this Exodus is going to top the previous Exodus. And this is why it looks so impossible to the natural man of us getting out of this. But if you rewind back to ancient Egypt was the America of its time. It was the most powerful kingdom on earth at that time. And the idea of the Israelites being rescued from ancient Egypt seemed just as far-fetched, if not more. But this is what the scriptures is talking about. And now in these last days, through the Spirit, the Lord has given us the ability, beginning with our apostles and elders, to understand this, to see what's going on around us and how it relates to the scriptures and what the Lord told us aforetime. All right, because what Esau's doing is nothing that he came up with on his own. All right, he's subject to prophecy like we are. All right, this is Isaiah 46:9. Remember the former things of old, for I am God and there is none else. I am Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So we understand, according to prophecy, that the MOTB is the C-hip, the chip, and it's going to be made mandatory at a certain point. And that is going to bring in the hour of temptation that Yahushai mentions. All right, this is Revelation chapter 3. And this is why, as we look at these prophecies and we see them coming to pass, we have confidence in the Lord and his ability to deliver us. You know, our confidence, Lord willing, we be a part of that number, is not in our own way or our own efforts, but that the Lord is stronger than everything that we're up against. All right, this is Revelation 3:10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Because it's going to get heavy. It's going to get difficult. But ultimately, the Lord's going to keep the elect from the hour of temptation. All right, because again, it just said you can't buy or sell without that chip. But it also says this in the scriptures. Isaiah 65:13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. So the Lord's going to keep the elect from taking that chip. But everybody else who takes that chip, there is going to be a consequence. All right. This is Revelation chapter 14 and verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. All right, because again, that lake of fire is going to be America, Babylon the Great, on fire from coast to coast. All right, from the ICBM missiles and from the chariots. And all of those who have taken that chip, they're going to experience that. All right, if they haven't already received judgment, they're going to experience that. That's what it's talking about when it says fire and brimstone. It's not talking about going to hell and burning forever. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all Yuakim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.